Thinks the delivery driver, should tip her on mobile, so if things go wonky, my attorney is accepting calls. After never dealing with an EP in my life, I've now had 2 in the span of a few months. Normally a foul mouth, but I'll keep things clean for r// and others and GT. So I am a delivery driver for major food delivery company in major college town in Texas where everyone loves maroon. Normally, it's not bad, pays pretty well, and customers are generally fine, though you'll always have idiots in every service job. This, however, surpassed anything I'd ever experienced before. I get an order alert on my phone. Relatively simple but expensive order. We drivers love expensive orders, from a restaurant nearby. A portion for delivery instructions. The customer explains that I need to call her once I arrive, as ringing the doorbell, as I normally do, would disturb her autistic son. Okay, no problem at all. I received therapy for sensory issues when I was a kid, so I'm going to be even more sympathetic to that than the average person. I receive the order, and drive over to the house, nice part of town, and give the customer a call. Younger woman answers, tells me to come up to the door. I do so, and enter the who, strangely, was fairly attractive and did not have the typical Karen haircut. M equals enraged marmalade, me equals the muffin man, NSL equals nice support lady. E, here's your order mom. Is there anything else I can help you with today? Yes. My son is autistic, and people like you don't understand how difficult it is to raise him. I shouldn't have to pay this much for food. Can you give me a discount? Me, baffled, I'm sorry mom, but the app calculates your order total, not me. It's already been paid for. M did not like that answer. Her face changed from a smug smirk into a snarl. I suppose I didn't realize how ridiculous the idea that people pay for their own food is. Well, why don't you pay for it then? I'm not sure if you heard, but my son is autistic, and it's your fault that he's still hungry. Me, I'm sorry mom, but that goes against our policy. If I paid for your order, I'd probably be fired. Good. You're a useless driver anyway, you're disgusting. My son is starving to death. Since I've had to go through so much trouble with you, you should tip me. My app has a setting that while you're in the process of taking an order to a customer, they'll assign you another one at the same time if there's activity. Thankfully, this saved me here. Me, can't do that mom. Here's your order. I dropped the food gently on the ground between us, and jogged back to my car. She was shouting something unintelligible, so much for not disturbing her autistic son, but I couldn't make out what she was saying. Surprisingly, she gave me a 1-star review. You tip online, so I got a small tip. I contacted support about it the next day. Me, yeah, I had a crazy lady yesterday, started demanding that I pay for her order, and even that I tip her. Really rude, not sure what the deal was. Oh, I knew what the deal was. That's why I'm here. NSL, which order was it? Me, it was, order number, at, address. NSL, yikes, you're the 3rd person to complain about her. 1 or 2, we take with a grain of salt, but 3, you're probably out. I'll try to get her deactivated. If so, her review will be off your record. Me, thanks. Appreciate it. I feel like the entire world is better off now that she won't get deliveries from us anymore. But was the cost worth it? That remains to be seen. Edit, my first gold. Thank you so much. I can imagine she calls again. The zucchini, do you mean you no longer will serve me? Your dough has raped me in my mouth, so as compensation I am taking your store. I kinda think her son wasn't autistic. I had a mild heart attack when I logged on and my karma jumped this much. A slow spent 5 minutes thinking of a way to say this without sounding like a thought. Seriously, I feel like people throw that around to get special treatment, and it makes it so much harder for actual autistic people to be understood. Shoulda paid for her kid's food. He's handicapped. And pay for his schooling. And for his first date and wedding. Sheesh. You're so cheap lol. And GT, major college town in Texas where everyone loves maroon. She was obviously a student or former student. You should have hit her with, sorry mom, can't do it because an Aggie does not lie, cheat or steal, or tolerate those who do. Ha. That would have been funny, but there were no obvious signs. It's your fault that he's hungry. When she realizes that you've been sneaking into her son's room every night and pumping his stomach. Oof, caught red-handed. EPs tried to pimp me out to a neck and try to ruin my life when I don't let them. This all happened around 10 years ago and takes place over the course of the absolute worst months of my life. I had just turned 18 at the time, and thanks to my mom's gambling addiction we lost the house that I had lived in my entire life. Almost right after we lost the house, a family friend offered to let us stay at her house with her family, since her and her husband had a few extra rooms. We move into their very large house, and at first things were great. The family consisted of the EPs and Eric, who was the same age as me. All of them were understanding and nice at first, offering to let me and my mom stay for as long as it would take for us to get back on our feet. Even got me my first job working as a volunteer at a bingo hall. It was all under the table kind of money, but I didn't care since it was money in my pocket that my mom couldn't/wouldn't provide me. EPs had been family friends for a very long time, and are absolutely enamored with the idea of me and Ek getting together, and have been ever since we were little. They constantly made comments like, "Look at the beautiful couple, you two look so great together," or "We'll give you lovebirds some privacy." Never we were in the same place together. Despite me stating several times that I didn't like him in that way, they were determined to try to get us to work, like some kind of arranged marriage. I think that really fed into Ek's ego, because about a month into my stay there is when the first incident happened. We were walking down the hall when he smacks my cheesecake from out of nowhere. I really freaked out and went off on him, yelling, cursing, and giving him a few shoves. Our parents came upstairs to see what all the yelling was about, and we end up getting separated. I tell my mom what happened, and she responds by telling me it wasn't a big deal and to not rock the boat while we were living there. Ek eventually gives some half-assed apology to me at dinner, and his dad made some joke about how he's relieved that he's finally taking an interest in girls, since they were starting to think he was butternut. Things proceeded to escalate from there. Any chance Ek got, he would make lewd comments or find some way to grope me. Every time I went to his parents it was always hand-waved away as boys will be boys, or he probably didn't mean it that way, that he was a really sweet guy deep down and I should get to know him better. On one occasion Ed told me that I should be flattered. My mom was content to not do anything, enjoying the freeloading that got to feed her addiction too much, and telling me to stop playing hard to get. One day Ek puts a hand down my shirt as I'm sitting on the couch, and I started yelling at him about how I'm sick of him doing stuff like this and to never do it again, but he gave me the most terrifying glare and told me, "Shut up. You live in my house." After that I was so terrified of being alone with him that I would stay after school for as long as I could until Elle was asked to leave, and if I ever had to go back to the house for any reason, I would just hide in my room with the door locked and wouldn't come out until I knew other people were around, since I didn't know if one day he was just going to force himself on me. Fast forward a few months and I'm told, not asked, that I'm going with Ek as his date to his senior prom, which is in a week. EPs are super excited and tell me that we'll have the whole house to ourselves that night after we come back from the dance. I very quickly shut that down and tell them that I'm not going because of how Ek treats me, and EPs spend the rest of the day doing everything they can to compel me. First they try telling me money isn't an issue, how they'll pay for my dress and ticket. When that doesn't work they try to guilt trip me, telling me how they ask me for so little, and how this is the least I can do, and how much Ek would love it. Finally, my mom eventually hears about it after she comes home from the casino, and she's pissed. She tells me how I need to go, how it's such a big opportunity for the both of us, and how I need to tell the EPs that I changed my mind. I refuse, and the day after Ek's prom is over, EPs sit me and my mom down for a talk. They start implementing new rules, about how they now expect us to pitch in for all the amenities, how we're expected to buy our own food, and how they're going to start charging us for rent. Before all this, they were very adamant about us not paying for anything, wanting us to save money to get back on our feet. Even without my mom spending half or all of her checks at the casino, there was no way for us to afford what they were asking, and they subsequently gave us a month to find our own place and move out. We ended up moving out to live in a sketchy neighborhood with some guy my mom was dating, whom she'd met at the casino. My mom blamed me for the entire thing, saying I blew a golden opportunity for both of us. How I basically threw away a great future that was all laid out for me because I wouldn't dance and put out. That cut me pretty deeply, and I still get angry thinking about it to this day. Few months later I graduated, but my mom didn't show up to the ceremony. I come back to the house and all my stuff is sitting on the curb next to the trash, and had been thoroughly picked through. I found out my key doesn't work anymore, and nobody is picking up their phone. End up waiting till about 3 in the morning for them to come back from the casino, and my mom tells me in so many words that I'm my own now. Nothing I say changes her mind, and I eventually pack what little of my stuff is left into my car. I spent the next month or two couch surfing or sleeping in my car, while trying to pick up as many days as I could at work. Eventually I managed to save up enough to move into my first apartment with a roommate. I haven't spoken to my mom or the EPs since then, but recently my mom left me a voicemail asking if we could talk, since she didn't like the way we left things. Since then, she's been blowing up my phone every day. I don't plan on ever taking her call. Thank you to anyone who've read this far into my ranting and venting. I didn't intend for it to be this long. Update: I'm going to sound cliche as all hell, but I'm honestly overwhelmed by the amount of support I've received from you all. I would like to thank each and every one of you who left a comment, sent me a message, or offered advice as encouragement. I wish I could do something to repay you all, but for now I would just like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Jesus Christ, that was a little dark, but you did amazing by standing your ground against that zucchini bag and his stuck-up family. And I hope your life gets better. That's some titanium spine you have there. Standing up to adults who wanted you to prostitute yourself to provide a place to stay for yourself and your egg donor is hard as an adult, let alone a school student. Then the egg donor chucking you out at her first opportunity, that was just reptilian cold. I'm pretty confident the reason you're getting calls is that Ed had been evicted from her den of convenience. She's looking for another place to lay her head between casino runs. Keep strong in refusing to reconnect. Hard as it will be to do now, it is going to save you heartache later. And GT didn't like the way we left things. She's expecting money from you and is likely confused as to why she isn't getting it. I'm Op's mother. She should be ecstatic I've finally decided to contact her again after the horrible way she left our relationship. 1. Tell your mother to go coconut herself and then block every means she has of trying to communicate with you. I bet that pos wants you to talk to you for money again. What she did was despicable. 2. I'm glad you're in a better place now. 3. Is there any way you can look into charges for your mum and the family? Well, all I can say is that I'm glad you missed the golden opportunity. Waiting. This happened almost 40 years ago. I'm posting it as a thanks for reading the other stories. This one is more funny and entitled rather than infuriating and entitled. My immediate family was, for the most part, perfectly normal and boring. We were not prone to outbursts and tantrums. It was very calm and quiet. Everyone got along and we were pretty happy with our boredom. Tell you that so you understand that I had absolutely no experience at all with people prone to screaming fits. You should also know that I suffer from a case of terminal morbid curiosity. I also don't give a cheesecake. Never did. Never saw the fun in it. This happened when we were visiting for great auntie's funeral. I was 12. CA insisted that we all go out to dinner at her favorite Italian restaurant. It was just the best. She said so and she was never wrong. The gimmick here was a little flag of Italy on the table. When you wanted more dinner rolls, you raised the flag. This is important. Flag up, you get rolls. Flag down, no rolls. Remember that. The 6 of us are seated, they take our drink order and bring the bread basket. The cast has a new member, poo for my poor long-suffering uncle who will one day be made a saint for being married to CA for over 20 years. Some of you commented in my first post that he was an enabler. Wasn't. He was a victim as well. He couldn't leave her without leaving Emily. It started with the drink order. CA, we will have 5 sweet teas. Dad, I'll have a Coke. Mom, I'll have a Coke. Me, tea, no sugar. This is a mortal sin in the South. CA, don't be silly. You can't have sweet tea without sugar. Me, I don't like sugar. CA, that's stupid. Bring her sweet tea. Beatrice winked at me. Yes, Mom. PU, I think I'd like a Coke as well. Emily, I'd like a Coke. CA, we drink Pepsi, not Coke. We are having sweet tea. The waitress brought us our requested drinks. CA was growing agitated. CA likes to control everything and everyone. So she told us what to order for dinner. I'm not going to get into an ethical debate here, but I refused to eat veal. She demanded we all have the veal. I refused. I knew this would set her off, but, oh well. I'm not eating veal. My parents, after I had explained to them years earlier why I would not eat veal, refused to eat it as well. Did I mention I get my I don't give a shit quality from my parents? Well, they didn't give a banana either. They were perfectly capable of ordering whatever the hell they wanted. So they did. I had lasagna. It was good. My mother's was better. Once we ordered what we wanted, it emboldened Pooh and he stepped out of line and ordered something else as well. CA was not having a tea. CA, you are getting the veal. Pooh, no, I feel like something else tonight. CA, the veal is the best. PU, I still want something else. CA, you won't like it. PU, I'm sure I will. CA, you don't know what you are talking about. PU, I know what I like. CA, well you can't have it. PU, yes, I can. CA, I said no. PU, well, I'm ordering it. CA, you always get the veal. PU, because it's your favorite and you make me. I don't even like Italian food. CA, yes you do, it's your favorite. PU, I want the lasagna. CA, damn it, Pooh, order what I tell you to order. PU, no. Lasagna. Emily, I'll have the lasagna too. CA, you can't have that, you are allergic. Emily, no, I'm not. CA, I'm your mother, I know what you can and can't eat. CA, to the waitress, bring her the veal. The whole time this is going on I am looking from one to the other like watching a tennis match. Back and forth, with the pitch of her voice getting more and more shrill with each sentence. I was fairly certain that when we left bats would have been summoned. I'm just watching them and eating a dinner roll. Food arrives and everyone got what they wanted, even Emily, much to the fury of CA. Then it happens. Pooh raises the flag. CA puts it down. Pooh puts it back up. CA takes it back down. Up and down, up and down. I see the bread guy hovering at the edge of the table, waiting. Flag goes up and he rushes in to drop off the new basket before it can go back down. CA grabs the basket and throws it at the kid that delivered it. To save time and typing, every time CA speaks, the flag goes down. The rest of the time it goes up. CA, you don't need any more bread. PU, but I want more. CA, I said no. PU, I'm an adult, I can have more bread if I want. CA, no you can't. PU, why? Just tell me why I can't have more bread. CA, because I said so. You aren't listening to me. PU, I'm hungry and want more bread. CA, you wouldn't be if you had ordered the veal. PU, yes I would. I always am, but you never let me have more bread. Tonight I get more. Me, I want some more bread too. CA, no, you have had enough. Me, no, I really think I want more. CA, well you are wrong. Me, you seem upset. CA, that's because you people aren't listening to me. Me, yes we are. We just don't care. We want more bread. Add to me while trying not to laugh at how absurd this is. You aren't helping. Me, I think you want more bread too. At this point the whole zucchini place is watching our table and the battle over the flag. I'm fairly sure there were people taking bets to see who would win. In the middle of the confusion, a nice lady sitting at another table nearest Emily, tapped her and slipped their fresh bread basket to her. Emily took a roll and slipped it to me. I took one and slipped it to my father, then it went to my mother who, after taking a roll for herself, slipped one onto Pooh's plate. CA saw it and grabbed for it. Pooh was faster. He shoved the whole thing into his mouth at once. It was a big roll. The waitress approached the table to check to see if we needed anything. Xanax was unfortunately not on the menu, and CA demanded she bring the check. I want dessert. Chocolate cake. PU, sounds great. I'll have some. Emily, me too. Dad, I'll have apple pie. Mom, I'll have cheesecake. Bring cheesecake for CA. She loves cheesecake. CA, no. We are not having dessert. We are getting the check and leaving now. Dad, no, we aren't. CA, well I'm leaving. You can all walk home. Dad, I drove. It's our car. CA, I know, give me the keys. Dad, nope. CA, you have to give me the keys. I live here. You are just visiting. Dad, yes, I'm just visiting with my family in our car. CA, it's my state. Dad, I don't care. It's my car and you can't have it. You're a terrible driver anyway. CA, no I'm not. Dad, you drive the wrong way on the freeway. CA, no I don't. It's the other cars going the wrong way. Dad, you get lost in your own neighborhood. CA, not always. Dad, you are not driving my car. CA, yes I am. Dad, no you aren't. That, ladies and gentlemen, continued while we ate dessert, paid the check my father was buying, as we walked to the car, and for the entire trip back to their house. My father drove. We dropped them off and went back to our hotel room. Dad, has your sister always been this crazy? Mom, no, it started when she was about 3. Dad, what happened? Mom, she started speaking in complete sentences. Dad, dude, this is the funniest thing I have ever read. That's for sharing this story. Smile. This is beautiful, especially your mom's response at the end. She started talking in complete sentences. Bring cheesecake for CA. She loves cheesecake. By your mom is my favorite line. So funny. I had lasagna. It was good. My mother's was better. I love it. Food always tastes better from your parents' plate. D. Didn't just insist that she owned Emily's car, then all vehicles associated with anyone unfortunate enough to be related to her? Christ. It's her state.